Good morning, everybody. It's about 5:30. Welcome to my new hobby. Today's a bit different. We've just started a 3 or 4 day water fast. So the only food we're allowed, well, no food, is water. So, and you're allowed black coffee because that's got no calories in it. So I've had my coffee, I've had a glass of water, and I'm off to do about a 10k run now. So I'm going to take you with me and let's see how the next few days pan out. Let's see if it's possible. The sun is just coming up. It's actually my third one of these runs this week, which is the first time ever that I've ran as much as this. I'm not a gifted runner. So, vitamin D from the sun, it's a thing. But how does it work? Apparently, it's the microbes that live on your skin. They help your skin, or allow your skin, to absorb vitamin D from the sun. Who knew? So all this antimicrobial, antibacterial soaps, shower gels, all of that kills off all of those microbes that you need for absorbing sunlight and getting the vitamin D in your skin. So maybe just stay a little bit dirtier. What do you think? Anyway, I'm going to soak this up. Come on, sunshine. Let's have a bit of you. About a third of the way through. I say, third one of the week. Quite tricky today. A little bit tired. Why am I doing this fasted, or why am I fasting at all? Because of the nature of our toxic environment, and I don't mean the world. This is fine. The world's fine. Don't worry about the world. But because of the nature of our toxic environment, and by that I mean our homes, our workplaces, our cars, our kitchens, our bathrooms, our bodies pick up environmental toxins. And all of those toxins are going to be damaging for your DNA, which is really, really bad. Damaging for all your different organs of the body, especially as they get in through the gut, they travel around the body, and they sort of nest in places, especially in a body that already has a high toxic load, because when that's the case, your detox pathways are not functioning and you tend to collect and store these toxins in your fats. And the good thing about fasting is that it burns fats. So I'm about 77.2 kilos right now. I expect to lose 3 or 4 kilos over the next 3 to 4 days, full on detoxing. So what that's going to do is it's going to burn the fats that I need burned, that are stored around my organs, in my viscera. Lovely. And that's what I want. I want to get rid of those, flush them out, keep my detox pathways nice and clean, and that way we can be happier and healthier. So another thing about fasting is it's like an accountability thing. In this modern world, we're tempted by many, many things all the time, including me. Yesterday, for example, small temptation. We went to the gym, and then Nicole and I went for brunch. We got the gluten-free option, and the lady came back and said, gluten-free bread, but the sausages got gluten in. And we went, oh, it'll be all right. And they were really good. But now we have to deal with the fact that there's gluten working its way through our bodies and doing all the nasty, nasty things that modern gluten does. So fasting is like, hang on a minute, stop that. Let's get back to baseline. Let's clear everything out, reverse that a little bit of damage, get back to clean, and then start afresh. So that's what we're doing. I'm just coming into Fine Shade Wood, second wood of the run. The hawthorn's out everywhere. The elder is starting to flower. It's really a beautiful time of year. When fasting, Will, where are you going to get your energy from, mate? To do all this running around, going to the gym and all that? Because a lot of people will say, when you're fasting, take it easy. Just, sit down, read a book, take time off, enjoy yourself. And that's perfectly valid. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I want to go the other way because I just think it can be done. I mean, our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, and they practiced feast and fast. So they would literally run around hunting animals with spears, and they might not catch anything for days, but they'd still be running around. So where were they getting their energy from? Well, muscles are powered by ATP and glycogen. The glycogen in your muscles is replenished from your fat stores. Now, if there's anything in your stomach at all other than water for a prolonged period of time, it's not going to do that. That's why people get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's because they're not allowing their food stores to completely run out. In which case, if they did a bit of fasting, their bodies would burn fat. So for the next 3 days, at least, I'm not going to alter my schedule at all. I'm just going to continue as if nothing has happened. And what's going to happen is I'm going to run out of glucose. And that's fine, because when you run out of glucose, your body switches to its ultimate fuel source, which is ketones. And in fact, the brain runs far better on ketones than it does on glucose. So I'm quite looking forward to that switch. Only about 2.5 miles to go. 5 miles done. Yes. I'm not gonna stop running now until we get home. This is the last stretch. About 10 minutes. See you when we get there. I've never done this kind of thing before in my life, but I have to say I'm really enjoying being out every morning, doing something, looking at things, breathing fresh air. It's the way forward. Right, fasting. It's not all sunshine and roses. This is hour 44. Just water and black coffee, literally nothing else. Oh, and electrolytes, right?
Yeah.
But 0 calories at all. So we are hard hitting the end of the glucose, the end of the glycogen. It's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Very tiring and achy. I've got an achy lower back, achy knees, which sounds bad, but also when you put yourself into a fasted state, your body's just doing repair work. So it's kind of like, I know something's happening, but it's not much fun. This morning wasn't much fun either, waking up feeling like I just needed to eat something. I felt pretty sick, pretty like I was very close to caving in, honestly. If it wasn't for you, I probably would have just gone, that's it, I'm done.
You did need a little bit of a poke this morning.
Yeah, it was hard.
I went and did market, and it wasn't a very good market. It was bloody awful, to be honest. You can hear I am mentally suffering at the moment, and that is my brain running out of glucose and starting to run on ketones, which by the time I wake up tomorrow morning, I should feel a lot better. But that will be, 48 hours is 9 o'clock tonight, so I'll be at 60 hours more or less when we get up tomorrow morning, and then we're into running on ketones, which should be a lot better. But yeah, don't let anybody tell you it's easy, especially if you're not cheating.
Yeah,
right?
Anything that's really, really worth doing and really good for you is hard work. I'm sorry, but it doesn't come in the form of a gummy or a, sparkly packet of mushroom coffee. That's the hard work is hard work, but the rewards, we've had to make some tincture bits this afternoon, and I had to make the water kefir. The idea of going downstairs and doing some work is like, okay, here we go. So
Strap in.
Yeah, once you've done it, and by the time we get to Monday morning and break our fast, we're going to feel great because we've done something really challenging.
Well, we will have had 12 hours of making stem cells while we sleep.
I mean, we'll have to go into that more, but basically you can buy stem cells, you can have stem cells injected into you for thousands of pounds.
God knows where they get them from.
But your body makes them. You have to be without food for 72 hours, so your body gets into that state of just deep cellular repair. You know, we're repairing like your mitochondria. All this stuff is like cellular level stuff. And the 72-hour mark is when you start making your own stem cells. So that's worth it, I would say.
Yeah.
That's like health insurance, right? Allowing your body to just like do what it needs to do to fix itself rather than waiting for it to just break.
Yeah, I mean, once you've broken it, it's too late. You know, for a lot of people, it's too late.
And they can still, you know, do like what we're doing, but it's
be very,
really,
very
really
hard.
work. Yeah.
I mean, we're on pretty good physical form, and still just not eating food for 48 hours, you'd think that would be easy. It's really not. Really not. And it's funny because they'll have watched me running around going, I'm not going to change my routine at all, blah, blah, blah. Routine's changed. Got to take it easy now for the rest of the day. Going to sleep early.
Lots of rest.
Mentally tomorrow I should feel a bit better. Right now I am pretty ragged. So, sign it off there.
Yeah.
See you in the morning. Good morning. We are 84 hours into our fast and it's time, finally, to break it.
Yay.
I want to say it's been fun, but it's been fun in a kind of a sadistic way.
It's been challenging.
It's been very, very challenging. We are absolutely knackered because we haven't stopped doing things, even though we have slowed down a lot. We still have things that need to be done. So, you know, taking dogs for walks and doing tinctures, but you can hear in my voice how slow.
Yeah, it's definitely a massive slowing down. Naps, which is just abnormal to us. I think it is for most people. We're normally just racing around, working, busy,
Yeah.
exercising, and giving yourself like 3 days to just totally slow down and just rest and recover from all of that. Yeah, it's necessary, but it's really difficult.
We were talking earlier about how nice it would be to do this again in a ceremonial kind of setting.
Yeah, like treat it as a retreat and
just have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Do some meditation, read some books. Now is the time to talk about refeeding and how you might want to go finishing a fast and starting to eat again.
Yeah, because after 3 days, your digestion is like massively slowed down. So it's important that when you start eating again, you don't go straight into stuff that's like hard to digest. You want to refeed your gut and allow it to like kind of warm up, I guess, like an engine. You've got to start with something like a bone broth, something with some probiotics in, whether it's like a kombucha or a kefir, and then steamed veggies, something quite light, easy to digest, and then get onto like your protein, like meat or something like that. So yeah, we've got homemade bone broth in here, which is, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's either chicken or venison by the looks of the colour.
It's all organic though, isn't it?
Yep, homemade, just bones in a stock pot overnight. I'm probably going to add a little bit of extra like Celtic sea salt to it, and it's going to taste really delicious.
I can't actually wait for that.
Yeah. Cut it there.
Ah.
Just a bit of something that resembles food in 3 days.
Cheers, Biggers. Oh, it's the
that's
nectar of the
lovely.
gods.
I mean, we were saying last night about how not having food, it kind of leaves you feeling a bit empty and like physically and emotionally a bit vulnerable. Like it's something, we've read quite a bit about fasting, but until you actually do it, or until you talk to somebody who's done a 3-day water fast, you don't really know what it's like, because we're so used to, I mean, our lives evolve around food.
Yeah, they do.
Food now is like a 24/7 thing. You can get food at the click of a button.
We cook all our own food, the vast majority of it. So we cook 3 meals a day, or we make, you know, salads and smoothies for the gym. And it takes hours and hours and hours out of your day.
Yeah, the cooking and the cleaning and the eating. Yeah, so when that's all gone, you're sort of like, well, what do I do? And also because you're really tired, it's not like you're got all this free time and you think, okay, I'll just go and do some of my hobbies that I've not had time to do or whatever. You're just kind of like, I'm just going to go to bed.
Yeah, rest.
Yeah.
That's why I think it should be done in a sort of ceremonial way. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to carry on. I know, I was joking about me running around in the woods going, I'm not going to change my routine. at all. And it's like, yeah, you are.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
you
you
have
are.
to, because if you're still forcing yourself to carry on and put out as much energy when you're not putting as much energy into your body, you're not giving yourself the chance to rest and recover, and that's the thing.
We both lost about 3 kilos of fat, mostly fat, and water.
Yeah,
With a strict water fast like this, your body is not burning lean muscle mass. It's actively preserving the muscle mass, because it's this feast and fast response where our ancestors would have not had food between hunts. So it doesn't make any kind of sense for the body to burn its muscles.
that it needs for finding food.
Exactly. So it burns fat. So yeah, I've lost 3 kilos.
It's interesting that we lost about the same amount of weight, 3 kilos each.
Yeah.
It's almost like, if you averaged it out, it's like 1 kilo per day.
Which is about the amount of food you'd eat, right?
Yeah, probably. We started this whole journey with food and anti-inflammatory foods about August last year. So it's not even been a year yet, but the changes we've seen have been massive.
We've been reading about it constantly, and we've modified our diet 6 or 7 times since we started. And basically where we've ended up is, you want to be as clean as possible. That's where we've ended up.
It is kind of difficult when you travel to get something that's healthy and ticks all the boxes, when you start to really look into how damaging a lot of things are, if it's the ingredients, the packaging, where it's come from. There's so much to consider.
You want to be doing the work, cooking your food. It still can be tasty food. Yeah, but you build up this battery of, like, here's my battery of good food. So when you want to go out for a meal and you eat something that's maybe not so good, you're more resilient because you've built up that battery of good food.
And like we said, you can afford to do it because you've done so much good work, and you want to enjoy yourself. Like, we cook all the time, which is it's really going back to like a more traditional way of eating and living, is home cooked food, which trying to find a local farm now to get organic vegetables.
There's nothing around here at all.
No,
we're
getting Abel and Cole.
We are in the Garden of England. It's the best soil in the UK. They grow more vegetables here per acre than anybody else in the country.
Yeah.
None of it organic, which is why I really believe that it's time for people, individuals, to take this into their own hands and start talking to their neighbours and growing as much food as they can.
Yeah, and the more people talk and become aware of, did you know that strawberries have 500 times more pesticides on them than a pineapple?
Yeah.
You know, finding organic strawberries is quite difficult and expensive.
Yeah.
Strawberries are lovely. Like, we're growing some in the garden, but we'll get like probably 10 strawberries each this year.
Yeah. But if
It's
Margaret
madness.
over the road was the strawberry lady,
Yeah.
and she just turned a little area of her garden into a strawberry patch, that's strawberries for the whole street.
Yeah, we're at definitely at a turning point for where we're at and where we need to go. Yeah, so linking all that back to fasting, when you go out to a restaurant or you just like kind of grab a snack when you're out, none of that food's organic. So what that means is there's been pesticides, fungicides, glyphosate, residues on that food. It's shocking to think, but unless you never want to go out again and eat, you know, which we do because we enjoy it, we go out together, just us, or like if there's a family occasion, it's difficult, but you want to enjoy those things. So linking this back into what we're doing now, when you do a 3-day fast, you give your body the opportunity to like do its own little cleanup. So it's going around your body and finding things that just don't belong in there, that are not natural, and your cells are having a chance to clean themselves up. Because when you're constantly eating, you're in a digestion mode, and your body's main priority then is digesting food, turning it into energy. When you just stop that whole process, by the time you've got to day 2, day 3 of your fast, your body's doing this like deep cleanup on itself, which is incredible.
It's called autophagy. You have these cells, like type of T cells called macrophages, that are responsible for eating things like cancer cells. And when you fast, your body is making more of these macrophages, which go around your body, and anything they don't like, they just eat it. They literally surround the cell and just destroy it. A lot of these protocols that we're talking about are very, very useful for dealing with cancer and things like that.
Or even autoimmune conditions, which cancer is an autoimmune condition. Like, there's so many things that are stemming from your gut, and if your gut is not functioning correctly, or it's just in a constant state of inflammation,
which, by the way, you might even not even know. You might have these subtle symptoms that you just write off as part of life and just things you put up with. But eventually, your body gets this toxic load that gets just to a breaking point, and that's when you get a full-on, either you get an illness, you get really ill, you get run down, chronic fatigue. All of those things are stemming from that.
A lot of things that we consider to be illnesses are actually just symptoms of one type of dysfunction, which is chronic inflammation.
Yeah.
And what they do with pharmaceuticals is they try and get rid of the symptoms of this illness, and then they assume that because they've suppressed the symptoms, they've got rid of the illness.
Yeah.
Well, in reality, you have chronic inflammation.
They're prolonging it because, all right, you've suppressed the symptoms of that, but that's going to have a knock-on effect to something else in the body, because your body, this is what we've been reading in books that are 100 years old, your body is always trying to heal itself, no matter what. Like, no matter what you've got going on, if it's an autoimmune condition, if it's cancer, if it's anxiety, if it's just bloating, like, your body is always trying to fix itself.
Yep.
And what we have to do is allow it to fix itself by putting in the right fuel, giving it a chance to restore itself. So if you are burnt out or if you have got an illness, give your body the time it needs to recover. And that's difficult because the world out there wants you to keep working, going faster, harder at everything. But what we need to do is actually just stop and look at what's going on and take that break, which it's easier said than done. Like, we even struggled the last 3 days to just not have anything to do.
Yeah.
But you sort of face each moment with, okay, right now I've got to do this. And after I've done that, I'll have a little rest, and you can allow yourself those little gaps to just keep on going.
The most powerful thing you can do for any illness that you have is to fast. You need your body to go, something's changed. And it will, whatever it's doing, is going to be in response to chronic inflammation in some part of your body. And the best way to get your body, your immune system to fire up and decide what to actually do about that part of your body that's slightly malfunctioning is to fast. There's one thing that we won't ever be putting back in our diet, and that's gluten.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is when gluten ends up in your gut, when it's digested, it breaks down into a compound called zonulin. And zonulin directly attacks the tight junctions in your gut and inflames them and separates them, which allows undigested food particles through your gut. But if you think about that strawberry again, that's got 500 times more pesticides and fungicides and everything on it than a pineapple chunk, by the time that gets to your inflamed gut, it can get through the walls. All of those chemicals are free to just come straight into your bloodstream.
In an ideal world, your strawberries shouldn't be full of chemicals. It's kind of a mad situation to be in, where we have to go to these levels of explaining.
If you want strawberries, you have to accept that the growing season for strawberries in this country is only so long, and you have to grow them yourself, right? They're not difficult to grow. We've got them in hanging baskets, we've got them in trays, and then we can guarantee there are no pesticides on those strawberries whatsoever, and we can enjoy them in the right time for enjoying them, which is better for your body anyway, because we are seasonal beings and we change throughout the year. I think that's very important to say.
You getting excited?
I'm really excited. I haven't seen real food in 3 days.
I know, it seems really weird now, like cooking food. So step 1, we just had our bone broth, which is amazing for healing your gut. It's like one of the best things. If you've got leaky gut, which most people probably have got to some degree, it's amazing for helping to heal your gut. So that's a really good thing to reintroduce after having not eaten food for 3 days. And then step 2, we're going to feed our gut with loads of probiotics in our homemade water kefir, which is really easy to make. That jar on the left is what we make the kefir in. Sits in there for 24 hours, and then I pop it in the bottle in the fridge. It is absolutely packed. Like, it's one of the highest concentrations of probiotics in any drink. We used to drink kombucha, but kefir is even superior to that, isn't it? So
yeah, kombucha is great in its own right, but it's nowhere near as strong as kefir.
Yeah.
Like a factor of 10.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, so kefir is going to be step 2. It's actually probiotics. And then the veg I've just been prepping, we've got at the bottom there's some leek, some cabbage, couple of carrots and loads of kale, and that's all organic veg. That's step 3. So the leeks are your prebiotics. So you've got, I mean, it's just everything you need, isn't it? The bone broth, the probiotics, the prebiotics.
Yeah, but this is like stacking.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's giving your body a chance to warm up and go, oh, okay, here we go, food again.
Yeah.
Gets your digestion going.
But it's really important because the first things that you do immediately after fasting dictate the state of your gut to come. It's like your baseline.
Yeah, you don't want to go straight in with a cookie.
Well, I was saying yesterday, like we were joking, I was saying, oh, fish and chips, can you imagine?
God, you'd be in agony.
Oh.
Your stomach would not know what to do with itself. The amount of fat and
Carbs,
you'd just pass out. Here we go, step 2, homemade water kefir. God.
How I've missed you. Has it ever tasted better than that?
No. Honestly, I drink plenty of water normally, but 3 days of just drinking water, I was getting so fed up with it. Do you want some water? No. I'm just going to dehydrate.
Do you want a black coffee with some electrolytes in it?
Oof.
No.
No.
How do you make this? What's the recipe?
So my recipe is, the grains grow, but basically you start with 35 grams of grains, and you add the equivalent amount of sugar. So 35 grams of grains, 35 grams of sugar. I use coconut sugar, and then 500 ml of water. Leave it for 24 hours, strain it off, and then start it again. You know, probiotic capsules you get, this is like a living version of that.
Yeah, this is enormously stronger than any probiotic on the market, by like orders of magnitude, because you just can't get these little pills with the probiotics in. They're like dried, inert bacteria that when they hit your gut, come back to life. But you can't get enough. I mean, look at the difference in size between a glass of this and a little pill of probiotics, and they're extremely expensive.
Yeah, this is like you just buying coconut sugar.
Yeah.
That's the only expense. We obviously use distilled water.
And so
That's
should you,
another
by the way.
episode
Yeah.
on the water. But yeah, it's great. It tastes nice. This is like something we just drink every day.
Bottom line, don't waste your money on probiotics. Invest a smaller amount of money in making kefir. So how long after fasting is this meal? We finished our fast at 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh, right. Yeah. So
It's about 11 o'clock now, isn't it?
yeah. So each step we've had, the bone broth and the kefir, we've been waiting about 45 minutes in between each one, just to give our stomachs a chance to like adjust and digest it properly. You don't want to be rushing and like going straight in,
You don't overload
devouring.
you.
Yeah.
What was your favourite bit?
The cabbage.
You like the cabbage?
I don't know what it is. Like, I've never been such a cabbage fan, but it's so sweet and tasty.
It's amazing after you've not eaten anything for so long, your taste buds reset. Carrots
Yeah, with the
were
olive
fantastic.
oil. Yeah, just a little drizzle of olive oil, and then you can taste the flavours incredibly. Like having just only drank water and herbal teas for 3 days.
Yep.
Yeah, that was super tasty. I'm gonna have some chicken in about 45 minutes. Each step you eat something, if you get like indigestion or discomfort or anything, or you know feel like it's sitting not very well, then that's an indicator that you've got to go back and do a bit more gut healing. You know, so getting on the probiotics and the bone broths more often. Yeah, but if you're fine, then that's a good sign. So
Can't really overstress the importance of bone broths. And I
this is
know,
something our grandparents would have done all the time. They wouldn't have wasted anything.
I mean, that was a plate full of vegetables. I loved every single vegetable in there,
Yeah.
right?
But I'm looking forward to the meat.
Yes, the protein is coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
So how long are we after fast now? About 4 hours?
Too long.
Yeah, it's about somewhere between.
It's about 4 hours since we broke it.
Yeah. So at 4 hours, you can start reintroducing your proteins of choice. Chicken's a very good one because it's very, very lean. It's just protein, really. Yeah. What would you do if you were a vegetarian?
Vegetarian would probably go tofu.
Yeah.
You want high protein. Half a pack of tofu. That's really good. It's not instant. As soon as you start eating, that you just like back to where you were, like energy wise. I feel better. Like I feel like more energy's coming back, but it's a gradual thing.
Slow process.
Yeah, same as when you go into a fast. Like gradually you're burning the glucose that you had in your system and switching to ketones, which takes a long time. So then equally, when you start eating food, it takes time to get back to like normal systems.
Here we go. Speed and power. Nicole is. Yep, that's speed and power.
That's what you get for calling me a grandma.
Hello? Hello? This is the behind the scenes footage. Now, I've never had two people on it.
I'm just gonna get ready in case.
In case it falls down.
Yeah.
Oh! Come on.
Easy.
I think it'll be okay.
Hey.
Come on. That's all my weight on.
We're feeling a bit more energised now after eating a little bit of food.
Yeah,
Not like super back to normal energy, but getting there.
We basically spent the last, 4 hours thinking about food, eating food, nicely spaced out.
Yeah.
But like we were saying earlier, it takes a while for your gut to actually start producing energy from the food.
Yeah, it's not like it's instantly. Normally, you're always burning what you previously ate while you're eating the next thing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why it takes time to come down and get back up. But yeah, it's good and it's been worth it. You know, when you really, this is what you have to remind yourself when you're in those moments where it's really difficult, is why you're doing this, why it's so important. Because it was not fun. It was not an easy or fun thing. I mean, that clip of us when we were just like low energy, it was really rough at points, but you feel so proud of yourself for getting to the end, you know, and having someone to help you through it, whether it's an online community support group or actually somebody doing it with you at the same time, is really helpful.
I wouldn't have wanted to do that on my own. It would have been way more difficult to watch people eat food.
I was thinking that at points. I know there's women out there who have done fasting through like the Mindy Pell's group, who their families are just all eating food, like their kids, their husband, and they're fasting. That must be incredibly difficult. So yeah, should we talk about some of these books that are really helpful?
Just one last thing about how I feel, or how we feel. You can tell me how you feel. I feel very clean. Now that the energy is coming in, I do feel very clean, very awake.
It feels like a reset.
Yeah.
I would say, like, now we're reintroducing things bit by bit, and we're going to get back into like going to the gym and exercising. We threw away some food that we were like, we don't want to eat this anymore, because we had that time to just completely stop and slow down and go, this is not what we want to be reintroducing back into our bodies. Like all this information that we've been gathering for the last 9 months pretty solidly, it kind of leads you to this point where you do all this work and you get yourself, like you say, really clean, and then you just don't want to reintroduce crap.
No, and you get into these habits, like I go to the gym every day, so I have to make my smoothie. What goes in my smoothie? It's frozen fruit from Aldi. Now, I'm not saying there's anything like wrong with it, but it's not going to be organic. And so if you've got fruits that are from the Dirty Dozen in your frozen fruit packet, well, then you're making a habit of eating those pesticides and fungicides and all whatever sprayed on them. You're eating that every day.
Yeah.
And I certainly was eating that every day for at least a month.
Yeah, and it's just building up your toxic loads, and then you do a fast and you've given your body a chance to clean up all of that crap in your system. And I just refreshed my memory from this Fast Like a Girl book, which reminds you that when you've done a fast, your body's gone around and cleaned up all of this crap, and then it's kind of just hanging around in there. You need to open up the detox pathways. So your body's got your lymphatic system, which is, how is it described? Like your body's sewage system.
It's your sewage system.
Yeah, so all the junk comes out through that system, but the only way that it's activated is through movement or through like physical dry brushing, yeah, or like an actual lymphatic massage, yeah. So people only come across this stuff when they're really ill. That's the thing, is luckily we've come across it before we're really ill, so we're working more from a preventative side, but that's equally as important because it's much harder when you're in a healing stage.
We didn't know, like, to say someone is ill is to say that they are displaying symptoms of an illness. But we were definitely, we've only been doing the Amy Myers stuff for what?
9 months.
9 months. Before that point, we were ill, but we just didn't know that we were ill.
Yeah, we sort of brushed off the symptoms as, well, this is just my normal, this is just what I deal with.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people like that. The vast majority of people are walking around with borderline autoimmune conditions. They just are not quite displaying symptoms yet.
Yeah, or not enough for them to take notice of.
Yeah, or maybe they just think it's normal, or I've got bad joints or whatever it is.
Yeah, we hear it a lot from people at farmers markets. They're like, oh, it's too late for me, or you can't help me. You know, like their symptoms are so bad that they think they're just kind of screwed. But it's a bit of like brainwashing, really, to think that you can't be healthy and well. This is why we've teamed up with like Finding Wellness, because they have the exact same mentality as we do, that everybody should be well and healthy. It's that is your natural state. It's not normal to be in a state of dealing with symptoms or suppressing symptoms all the time. Like, we should be, our bodies are trying to heal themselves all the time.
It comes down to the choices that you make every day. And that's what we want to get across in these podcast episodes, is making better choices about what you put in your body and what you do with your body will have a massive impact on your health. That's not an overstatement.
No.
It's if you change from poisonous stuff to not poisonous stuff, your body will thank you. And these books, as we were going to mention, are like a really good way to get a lot of information very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So this is the Autoimmune Solution by Amy Myers. Great book. The principles in here are absolutely fantastic.
Dealing with inflammation, autoimmune conditions, from the angle of preventing and healing. It doesn't really talk about fasting, but we're mentioning it because I feel like this book, when I found this book, it was like a wake-up book. You read that and you think, like, we thought we were already eating really healthy, and then when we got this book, we were like, oh, okay,
Whoopsie.
There's a lot here that we weren't fully aware of.
Yeah.
And you realise the implications of not paying attention to sometimes little things, sometimes big things, you know, like lifestyle things in your home, clothes. Like, she goes into a lot of different factors in that book.
Yeah, and it's, if you were to do absolutely everything as Amy Myers recommends that you do, you'd be living incredibly clean.
Yeah.
But it would take quite a lot of your time.
And it's expensive.
And it's expensive. But if you are suffering from an autoimmune condition, you have to buy and read this book.
Yeah.
And now let's move on to...
Yeah, so these are more about fasting.
Yeah.
So you've read this one.
I've read that one. This one is really aimed at curing diabetes.
Okay.
That's really what it's aiming to do. And it's really, really good. There's loads and loads of science in here. This is by a PhD doctor. Jason Fung. Yeah, absolutely fantastic book. But I would say read the two.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like we are, like a couple, having all of this is like builds a picture. Because if you just read one, so if I just read this book, I would be missing a lot of information. So what I've been doing over the last 9 months is reading different people's insights, really. So the Amy Myers autoimmune book, this one, another book by Stacey Sims, as I've got more into like training. But this is fantastic because it links to your cycle, like when you should fast, 2 different styles of eating. Like it's great. It's like the first of its kind, I think, this book.
Yeah. And really, all this information, these 3 books, should be taught in school.
Yeah,
right.
Gosh.
People should know this stuff. And the reason that we are all ill is that we don't know this stuff. That's not an overstatement or a joke.
No,
This is how to live properly.
Yeah, you just reminded me that when I read Fast Like a Girl, I was like, wow, why haven't I been taught more about the menstrual cycle, different effects it has throughout each week of the month, like how different it is and the way that it affects you. Like we're taught at school the bare minimum, and I think now it's even less than when I was at school. It's just mad because as a woman you're going to go through that for like 40, 50 years of your life, and it's just like hardly any information given to you.
No.
Until you have a problem.
But how to eat for your hormones
Yeah, that's been game changing. That's something I've really taken on board.
So I'm in the process of working something out for blokes, when to eat what. For example, eat your carbs in the morning. If you're going to train, you're going to do exercise, or you're going to work and you have a physical job, you want to eat your carbs in the morning.
Yeah.
You want to, if you're going to do physical stuff in the afternoon, you want to eat less carbs at lunch, and then really you want to eat no carbs in the evening, or very, very few, because you're basically going to sleep on all those carbs.
Yeah.
Right.
And your body is like repairing while you sleep. So if you have been active, your muscles are repairing. So you need calories, but you don't necessarily need all the fast burning carbohydrates. That's
Starches
what you
and stuff.
want in the day. Yeah.
You want proteins in the evening.
Yeah. And greens. Gotta get your greens in.
Well, so how are we going to summarise the last 4 days of our lives?
I think it's been a very valuable challenge, and that people should, well, I hope people will take it on board how important fasting can be, whether you're just trying to optimise your health, or if you're dealing with an illness and you are looking for some holistic way to heal. Fasting is, I think, massively undervalued.
Yeah. It's been used for literally thousands of years, and now because of modern medicine and modern dietary practices, it's just been pushed under the rug.
Yeah, it's like just eat all the time.
Yeah.
You need more food, not less.
No.
And there are online groups you can join, like Mindy Pearls has some online communities you can join.
Your mate runs one of them, doesn't she?
There's loads of things out there. It's just got to have the interest to join them.
We're going to the Isle of Wight tail end of this week. We'll be doing some filming there, and I think it's very important to follow up this fast with actually, how do you feel now?
Yes.
3 days after, 6 days after, when we get back, because we've got to also eat some pretty rubbish food in the Isle of Wight.
It's
because
not optimum, let's say.
no,
but
you've got to eat what you're given sometimes.
But we are going to do also a 1 week protocol of taking activated charcoal tablets, because like I was saying, your body's done this cleanup and it's not necessarily like flushed everything out. So there could be stuff like that's been released, but it's kind of hanging around. So the charcoal can help to bind to things like heavy metals, environmental toxins, and help just flush them out. So we're just going to do a week of taking some charcoal, flushing out some crap, and refeeding with like as good a food as we can.
The other thing to bear in mind is your chlorella and chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll, yeah.
They open up your detox pathways. So if you are doing stuff like this with your activated charcoal, that's a game changer. Get those things going on, get your toxins flushed out, feel better.
Yeah. That's the point of all of this, is it's not to be boring, or I hope the video hasn't been too real and put people off, but it's about feeling better, and that is a process. In a year's time we're probably going to feel better than we do now because of all the work that we're continuing to do. It's not a quick thing, it does take commitment, and it's a long-term thing, but the idea is that we're going to feel better, healthier, more vibrant, and also have a healthier lifespan.
Also have just more knowledge about what it is to be a human in this world. That is going to help, and that's what people should be doing, is gaining knowledge about what it is to be a human being living in this world. That will let them have more vibrant, like you said, interesting lives. So if you've got any comments, questions, or if you want to call us up on something that we've said that is wrong, we're always willing to learn new things, so stick it in the comments.
Us wrong?
Oh, well, it does happen.
Yeah, no, it does. We're not like we know everything, but we try and
I don't have
learn.
a PhD, unfortunately.
No. I
No.
do read a lot of books, though.
Yeah, I've got a pretty extensive bookshelf.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's it for this episode.
Toodle pip.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye. Now I've got to get off this thing. Oh, don't do that. Woo.
Are you going first?
I'm always going first.
Are you?
It's a lot lower than it used to be.